did you say? Snapped his door. Nothing, nothing. Dudley's birthday. How could he have forgotten? Harry got up slowly out of bed and started looking for socks. He found a pair under his bed, and after pulling the spider off one of them, put them on. Harry was shooting spiders because the cupboard under the stairs was full of them, and that was where he slept. When he was dressed, he went down the hall into the kitchen. The table was all set underneath all his birthday Uncle Vernon, Harry knew he ought to be sorry that Mrs. Fig had broken her leg, but it wasn't easy when he reminded himself it would be a whole year before he had to look at Dimples, Snowy, Mr. Boss, Tufty again. We could march, Uncle Vernon suggested. Don't be silly, Vernon, she hazed the boy. The Dursleys often spoke about Harry like this, as though he wasn't there, or rather, as though he was something very nasty that couldn't. What about what's her name, your friend, Fawn? On vacation, Majorca, snapped Alberton. You could just leave me here, Harry put in. Maybe what you want. For a change, it made me think have a go on Dudley's computer. Alberton looked as though she'd just lost and come back and find the house in ruins, she snarled. I won't blow up the house, said Harry, but they weren't listening. I suppose we could take him to the zoo, said Aunt Petunia slowly, and leave him in the car. The car's nailed, he's not sitting in it alone. Dudley began to cry loudly. In fact, he wasn't really crying. It had been years since he'd really cried, but he knew that if he screwed up his face and wailed, his mother would give him anything he wanted. Dinky Duddy, don't cry. Mommy won't let him spoil your special day, she cried, flinging her arms around him. I don't want him to come, Dudley yelled between huge pretend sobs. He always spoils everything. He shot Harry a nasty grin through the gap in his mother's arms. Just then the doorbell rang. Oh, good Lord, they're here, said Aunt Petunia frantically. And a moment later, Dudley's best friend, Piers Bolkus, walked in with his mother. Piers was a scrawny boy with a face like a rat. He was usually the one who helped people's arms behind their backs while Dudley hid them. Dudley stopped, pretending to cry at once. Half an hour later, Harry, who couldn't believe his luck, was sitting in the back of the Dursleys' car with Piers and Dudley. See, for the first time in his life, his aunt and uncle hadn't been able to think of anything else to do with him, but before they left, Uncle Vernon had taken Harry aside. I'm warning you, he had said, putting his large purple face right up close to Harry's. I'm warning you now, boy. Any funny business, anything at all, and you'll be in the cupboard from now until Christmas. I'm not going Mrs. Logan, Mrs. Figgs, Cabot smelling living room. While he drove, Uncle Vernon complained often to him. He liked to complain about things. People all wanted. Harry, the council, Harry, the bank, and Harry were just a few of his favorite subjects. This morning, it was motorcycles. Going along like maniacs, the young hoodlums, he said, as a motorcycle overtook them. I had a dream about a motorcycle, said Harry, remembering suddenly. It was flying. Uncle Vernon nearly crashed into the car in front. He turned right around in the seat and yelled at Harry, his face like a gigantic bee with a mustache. Motorcycles don't fly. Dudley just snickered. I know they don't, said Harry. It was only a dream. But he wished he hadn't said anything. If there was one thing that the Dursleys hated even more than his asking questions, it was his talking about anything. Acting no relationship, no matter if there wasn't a dream. Going to. They seemed to think he might get dangerous ideas. It was a very sunny Saturday. The street was crowded with the families. The Dursleys brought Dudley large chocolate ice cream that the interest in because the smiling lady in the van had asked Harry what he wanted before they could hurry him away. They bought him a cheap lemon ice pop. It wasn't bad either. Harry thought, looking in his. They watched the gorilla scratching his head while looking remarkably like Dudley, except that he wasn't blind. Harry had the best morning he had had in a long time. He was careful to walk a little apart from the Dursleys so that Dudley appears. He was starting to get bored with the animals by lunchtime. Wouldn't fall back on their favorite hobby if they knew. They ate in the zoo restaurant, and when Dudley had a tantrum because his Bob and Chloe didn't have enough ice cream for them, Uncle Vernon bought him another one, and Harry was always looking at his first. Harry felt afterward that he should have known it was all too good to last. After lunch, they went to the reptile house. It was cool and dark in there, like windows along the walls. Behind the glass, all sorts of lizards and snakes were crawling and slithering over bits of wood and stone. Dudley bears went to sleep. Poisonous cobras and thick, man-crushing pythons. Dudley quickly found the largest snake in the place. It could have wrapped his body twice on Uncle Vernon's car and crushed it into a trash can. But at the moment, it didn't look in the pit. In fact, it was fast asleep. Dudley sat with his nose pressed against the glass, staring at the glistening brown coils. Making move, he whined at his father. Uncle Vernon tapped on the glass. The snake didn't budge. Do it again, Dudley ordered. Uncle Vernon rapped the glass with his knuckles, but the snake just snoozed on. This is boring, Dudley moaned. He shuffled away. Harry moved himself to tank and looked intently at the snake. He wouldn't have been surprised if it died of boredom himself. No company except stupid people drumming their fingers on the glass trying to disturb it all day long. It was worse than having a cupboard as a bedroom, where the only visitor was up to tune the hammering on the door to wake you up. At least he got to visit the rest of the house. The snake suddenly opened his beady eyes. Slowly, very slowly, it raised his head until his eyes were on a level with Harry's. It winked. Harry stared.